Hello, my name is Ben Anderson, and welcome back to my podcast. This week we will be talking about Super Bowl 54, which was an American football game played for their championship. It was on February 2nd, 2020, and it was a really good game between two teams that hadn't been in the Super Bowl for a long time during the NFL's 100th season. It was actually the 54th Super Bowl, so there were seasons they played without Super Bowls. The teams in it were the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. The last time the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl was actually 1970, where they won, so it had been almost 50 years since they had been there. The attendance for the game was 62,417 people, which is pretty high. It was played in Miami, Florida, at the stadium of the Miami Dolphins. Tickets were very expensive to get in, ranging upwards of $3,000 to $4,000 per ticket, and some tickets costing as much as $15,000, which is outrageous for just a live sporting event. Both teams that started the playoffs had first round byes. They didn't have to play the first round of playoffs while the other teams did. The Chiefs came into the playoffs at 12-4. And the 49ers came in at 13-3. They had the best record in the NFL, tied with the Packers. And in the first round of the playoffs, the Chiefs beat the Texans 51-31 after being down 21-0, which is a very big deficit to overcome and is one of the biggest in NFL history in the playoffs. It was a very impressive game, and the quarterback of the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, looked really good throughout the game. And the 49ers beat the Vikings in the second round, 27-10, in a game where the 49ers dominated the Vikings, and the Vikings really had no chance throughout the game because the 49ers were clearly a better team. And so in the final conference championships, the Chiefs beat the Titans 35-24 in a very close contested game, but the Chiefs ended up coming out on top and defeating Derrick Henry in the Titans' running game, which is a very powerful attack. And the 49ers beat the Packers 37-20 in a game that was basically dominated by the 49ers. The Packers really weren't even close to them at the start, and at halftime it was a blowout, and the Packers scored some bad touchdowns late and still didn't even come within close. And so this Super Bowl was a pretty good game. It started off kind of slow, but it picked up in the third and fourth quarter throughout the game. At halftime, the game was tied 10-10. So it would have been a slow half to start out with. There was one touchdown by each team, one field goal by each team. Nothing was really happening. Teams couldn't get really stuff going. The 49ers are known as a passing team with Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and all their star wide receivers, but they just couldn't really get it going. The 49ers have a really good defense that was protecting the pass very well, and the 49ers have Richard Sherman, who is all-pro cornerback, defensive back, and so he was defending the pass really well in the first half. And the 49ers are known as a rushing team. They have a young quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, who was sat behind Tom Brady for multiple years before getting traded to the Chiefs, and played a little bit last year and had some really good games toward the end of the season, and they knew they had potential this year. And they got a really good draft pick in Joey Bosa, who's defensive end, who has been a star player this year as a rookie, and I think will continue to be so. But anyways, it's tied 10-10, and into the third quarter, they went, and the 49ers put up 10 points. So it was 20-10 after the third. So it looked like the 49ers were going to run away with it and come out on top. But in the fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes and their elite passing offense put up 21 points, and the Chiefs ended up winning 31-20. The 49ers scored 0 points in the fourth quarter, and just really kind of got manhandled the last part of the game. And it was a really cool game because Andy Reid, the coach of the Chiefs, the head coach, finally got his first Super Bowl win. He had been a coach in the NFL for over 20 years, which is a very long time. And he coached the Eagles for 14 years before coming to the Chiefs in 2013, I believe. So he was due for a Super Bowl win, and the Eagles had just won it a couple years previous without him. And Jimmy Garoppolo, throughout the game, he had 219 passing yards with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. And Mahomes also had 2 interceptions, but he had 286 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the lead running back for the 49ers have a running back by committee, so they use about 3 running backs. But the lead running back was Raheem Mostert, who's kind of the head guy all season. He only had 58 yards and 1 touchdown, which was actually a pretty slow week for him. Normally he touches close to 100 yards, and then Damian Williams, the lead running back for the Chiefs, had 104 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 receiving touchdown, which was a very good game, and it was pretty controversial that he did not win Super Bowl MVP. Patrick Mahomes won Super Bowl MVP, but he had, like I said, only had 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, so it's kind of a mediocre game in quarterback standards. And so there was some controversy about if Damian Williams should have won it because he had a pretty outstanding game. And then the Chiefs were actually favored by 1 point in this game on the odds, which seems about right. I think most people thought the Chiefs were going to be the favorite team to win it with their just elite passing offense, and they also had a really good defense, just like the 49ers. But Patrick Mahomes, I think, is just a little better player than Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jimmy Garoppolo has maybe like a couple years before he becomes elite. And I would not be surprised if the 49ers won the Super Bowl in the next couple years, because they have a super good team and are probably only going to get better. And Patrick Mahomes actually won MVP the season before this season, and so he was kind of favored as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and people knew that he was a real threat to whoever he played. And the halftime show, which was kind of controversial, was Shakira and Jennifer Lopez. And people just thought it was kind of different, weird, and it was good for the Latin American countries, is what I've heard. And some interesting fact here is the average cost of a 30-second commercial for it was $5.6 million, which in a media standpoint is a huge amount of money for just a short clip that you get to put on there. And that is a crazy statistic to think about in media and advertising and marketing standards of how many people actually watch the game and the amount of money you could profit by having that 30-second commercial for $5.6 million. But in the end, it was a very good game, and I think most people enjoyed it and liked the outcome of it, and I think that's about it. We'll see you next week on Ben's podcast.